have a few very traumatic times at the university, and that is because, as you know, that's the time I did Miss Kenya. All right? That's the other story.
No, I don't know. But what? You did what?
Okay, now I can talk about it. You know, for years I deny I ever did that. I was Miss Kenya. So
no, you were Miss Kenya.
And yeah, but we came out, we survived. Yeah.
And then now you joined the University of Nairobi.
The University of Nairobi.
And are you in halls of residence?
Yes. But again, I said my mother, being the person she is, the Nairobi University had beautiful residence. My friends managed to get an apartment, but my mom knew there was a particular residence for women called Stella Winja.
Yes.
Yeah, Stella Winja
was named after, yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't called Stella Winja. Then it was called Nancy something. I can't remember. It changed the name to. And she got me a room there with my friend, this best friend of mine, Nicole, from high school, so that we could share. Now that was perfect.
Tell us what you're studying. Tell us about this period of being in Nairobi.
So Nairobi University was probably interesting in many ways. So I was lucky. I was in a beautiful residence, Stella Winja. You had 2 rooms in the middle, partition, with a little kitchenette and your own bathroom and shower. So there are things in my life I've realized I don't like to share in the public. Shower, toilet, shower. Gosh, I just wish everybody could be blessed with that gift of having. In fact, one of the biggest things I keep saying now, even with a foundation and when we do stuff, I'm like, please, let's build toilets. Let's build toilets. Because the dignity it gives you, having a decent toilet and a decent shower is incredible. So it was beautiful. Now, Stella Winja also had its own dining room downstairs. And that dining room, I tell people at the university, we had 3-course meals, right? We would have a starter, we'd have a main, and we'd always have dessert.
Wow.
Dessert, University of Nairobi, jelly,
custard,
cake and custard, and everything else. The meals, we love the Scotch eggs.
Wow.
I mean, it was incredible. It was not the university that it is today. But I think for me, the tough things came into the university. The first 2 years were good.
Were you getting
5,500? 5,000? I mean, do you know how much money that was?
Let me understand this. So 5, even you your parents weren't paying for your fees?
No. University of Nairobi didn't pay. You were paid. You were paid. I'm sorry. 5,500 and something. I just know it was 5,000 plus change. It was just short of 6,000 shillings. A lot of money.
Wow.
You could really live it up. And if you don't drink, I didn't drink and whatever. The guys, of course, would go blow it, beer and whatever. It was a lot of money, man. We were okay.
Wow.
It would allow you to go to Vision, do that. When it started to run out,
Vision
next door, there was this place where they had chips. You could go buy chips and sausage and, it was okay.
And the meals are part of the package?
Yes. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Wow.
You understand?
Yeah. Wow.
Cake and custard. People look at me, they say, but we don't even get that. I said, oh, yes, that's what we had.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about school itself? And did a couple of people from Rusinga,
Musungari? Yes, my group of friends, that's why we all agreed. Because there was a group of us who all actually came to the University of Nairobi, including Laura, who came back from Canada and joined the university. So we hung out together a lot of the time.
Okay.
Yeah, we're a pack.
And what are you studying?
So I went to do a Bachelor of Commerce degree.
So now this time, the lawyer thing, because you had done that.
I wanted it. It was an image. It was whatever. But I thought business for me, Bachelor of Commerce had a fascination. And again, I tell people where the fascination came in, right? I figured independence, business, money, independence. That cycle comes across. And the second thing I think that also stuck in my head, which I probably didn't speak to when I was young, and I always say it, and I hope this is the last time I say it because I say everybody, and I'm like, oh my God, people are going to say, oh, she's going to say that again, is that even when I was young, I told you I was a reader. Part of what I would read is a newspaper. A newspaper are your father's things, I don't know what it is with fathers and newspapers. Do you guys understand this thing with newspaper? Newspapers, Anyway, so I'd get the newspaper and flick through it and read it. And in those days, when you look at businesses announcing their results and all those things. So they put all the photographs, another image stuck in my black and white page of a newspaper. All the directors' photos would be in the newspaper when they're announcing the results. Not like now where you sign chairman or secretary, whatever. And I'd ask myself, why is it just men?
Fuck, I was going to ask you that.
Why? And old men. You know, when you're 10, 11, everybody's old.
It's true.
So I mean, these old men, old, all of them. And I asked myself, how is it in business and boards? And I think that's why I purposed. Every time now, when I started this journey of joining boards, I mean, whatever, I kept saying, you know, it was from that seed of saying, you tell yourself, I want to change that face that I recall as a 10 or 11-year-old, where it's just all these men, old men. You know, the face of corporate Kenya has to also have diversity, right? And diversity is not also just all women, it's all young across different colors, ethnicities, and things like that. Yeah.
First of all,
so that is part of the reason I figured business would make sense.
But you were reading the newspaper at that age.
Yeah, I read everything. I used to read everything. I would read anything that was readable.
Reader's Digest.
I loved Reader's Digest. Oh my gosh. I used to try and subscribe. There was a neighbor who used to have them. So I used to go borrow them so that I could read them.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, you remember Reader's Digest?
That's the one thing I've ever read.
Reader's Digest. Reader's Digest. Yeah.
Okay, so commerce, business, independence, money. I've understood that whole thing. And also this is the side where diversity. So, but I want to understand, how is class? Are you enjoying the,
I love the university, but I'll tell you, I think I did have a few very traumatic times at the university. And that is because, as you know, that's the time I did Miss Kenya, all right? That's the other story.
No, I don't know. But what? You did what?
Okay, now I can talk about it. You know, for years I deny I ever did that. I was Miss Kenya. So
no, you were Miss Kenya.
Okay.
Okay, no, you're super. But you won.
Yes.
Okay,
but let's down that.
CTA is the research. So I intentionally don't
ask for stuff.
Research.
Yeah. And I'm glad you don't know, because I would have loved you to bits, because I love people who don't bring it up. I really do. But here's the thing. I never used to talk about it. So so in my first year, meet a wonderful woman called the late Mildred Owiti. I don't know if you know her, whatever. And a guy called Barak. Was his name Barak, whatever. So they see me and they sit down there like, you know, we'd like to make a proposition to you. And I'm trying to remember where Mildred or whatever met me. Even now, when I reflect on that time, I must have been walking the street somewhere or something. I can't remember where it was. And they said, listen, there's something we want you to do. And I said, I'm like, what? They said, you know, Miss Kenya's been going on for a long time. And unfortunately, when you look at it, the profile is not, as you can imagine those days, it's a particular kind of girl, mixed race or not, or, you know, light-skinned, mixed race, education, no higher level education. That was a fact. That's just the way it was. Those are the girls who did Miss Kenya, in quote. Those were the girls. Yeah. That was the block. So we want to change the paradigm. They didn't use paradigm. I'm putting the words in your mind. And so they said, you know, we really want you to try for this. No, we're going to support you. So I'm like, but what's in it for me? Yeah, I'm ruthless business person. What's in it for me? I mean, you know, why, you know, I don't want the attention. I don't necessarily want. They said, no. So will I make money? And then they said, yeah, well, you see. So I said, so what is in it? Take me through what is involved in this thing.
Make me understand logically.
Make me understand my famous words. And they said, no, you know, you're going to travel. I said, where? Remember, travel's my dream. This girl used to lie on the grass saying, you're going to travel and see all these places. They said, yeah, okay, it's going to be in London. Oh, really? Okay, and then we're going to go to Macau. Where is that? Where is Macau? I mean, where is Macau? I mean, pull out a map. There was no Google. Where is Macau? I want to know where Macau is. Somewhere off. And then in Hong Kong, oh my goodness. By that, I didn't care about anything else.
I'm in.
I said, I'm in.
Sign me up.
But then I asked one question. I said, but will anybody know? Will anybody know? This is the stupidity of youth and naivety. I said, no, not really. I'm like, so they asked me, how many Miss Kenyas do you know? I said, oh, I've heard of Khadija. She said, yeah, maybe Khadija one, but how many others? There have been many. I'm like, okay. Yeah, not many, Yeah, nobody will know. I said, okay, cool, we'll do it. I do it. With front page of the newspaper, Sunday Nation. Hey. Sunday Nation, front page. I swear I cried the whole day. I cried the whole day. I'm like, oh my goodness, how am I going to live this down? How am I going to live this down? Yet other people were happy. Others at that time were like, my parents were very happy. They were very proud. They didn't mind. My mother even came for the show, by the way. She came to Visions, my mother, with my auntie. They were sitting there. So I'm like, how am I going to live this down? Then that's when all the things start coming in. Because remember, in those days, today to be any of these things, my daughter herself for years used to tell me, Mom, how come you've not helped me become Miss Kenya? How come? I'm like, are you mad? It is a completely different thing. If you look at social media, these are the things people look up to. Those days it was, and you're in college, University of Nairobi, the bastion of conservatism and everything else. Oh my gosh!
I can't believe you try and downplay this story like just another.
No, it was also anyway. I'll tell you. Oh my gosh!
Just one or two questions about this era. First and foremost, congrats. That's amazing.
How is it amazing? Anyway, it helped me.
No, it's good to do co-curricular activities while you're in university. First and foremost.
Yeah.
2, congrats because you're on your goal to get independent.
Yes. And by the way, that's what I said. I asked them.
Yeah.
I did this thing.
You said, yeah. But here's a question. I know. I just want to understand. So I don't just want to. You did this thing like you've never walked down an aisle. You've never catwalked or like what is it like? I don't know. Stella Bogonko was Miss Tourism or one of the things. Yeah. You were Miss Kenya.
Yes.
Hey, that's
1986. Yes,
wow.
I was.
So, what was the process like going through? And then,
so it was.
And are you telling
honestly and truly? Yeah, of course they knew. Everybody knew. Okay, it was that. Everybody in campus was. That's what they still call me.
Before you won.
No, they knew I was going to do this thing. I went for it and whatever. And then I think for me, first of all, the travel was a misnomer.
Before the travel, the process of the show, the process of doing the competition. I want to understand what stages do you go through for you to win?
There was no stages. It was only one show. We went, I can't even remember. I blanked it out.
Oh, yes. It sounds like
I just remember somewhere we went, we did, we had visions, you walked once, you answered a few questions, you talked, everybody cheered, they did whatever, and the other girls, and then you walked up and down, I did that, and then they sat down, the judges sat down and said, okay, first runner-up, second runner-up, winner. I'm like, what the...
No, but
but it was okay. So it happened. Yeah. I'm like, okay, great.
Are you dated at this time, by the way?
No.
Boys?
No. I don't boys. Me boys, I don't talk about. This is very traumatic. My university days were very traumatic when it comes to boys. I don't even when I said about that. Another blanking out face.
Photographic memory now.
The photographic memory is there. It's as clear as day, but I blank it out. When you sit down, when you see a picture and you pull a screen. You see a picture and you pull a screen. No. But it was difficult because now you're brandished a lot of things because people they determine that you must be this kind of a person. I don't know what that kind is, but that kind.
Okay.
That kind. That's what happens. I mean, there was
and you weren't famous before
there was a university lecturer who even tried to fail me.
Wow.
And the person who saved me, till today, he laughs about it, was a dean of commerce. He was our neighbor, family friend, and a Professor Kimura was brilliant. He just says, I said, I protected you right through those years because of victimization.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, because you see, because people assume.
You're dumb.
you're idiot, you're dumb,
Yes.
why would you do this? But also there's lecturers who decide you must be loose, you must be attached to have done this. So do we, you know, and then they decide you just think you're very proud. I was called proud, actually. Half the time I was just some proud, snotty person, that type of thing, which also you become victimized and vilified for.
Was there sexual harassment?
I mean, sexual harassment, you know me. Can you harass me? Just look at this person. Try. You know, my friends used to hold me back. Yeah, I used to slap guys. But when I look back at myself, I saw I'm mad. One time we nearly got beaten in the street. You know, you're walking, a guy slaps my butt. I turn around, I slapped him. The guy was coming to beat us. Like, Patricia, you've got to stop doing this. I said, it's reflex. I'm sorry.
That's a good reflex.
It is reflex. Yeah. I'm sorry. You don't touch me if I don't want you to touch me.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
You see a guy saying it, you want to kiss him, oh, pop! Who asked you? Who told you I wanted to be kissed? I was so stupid. Honestly, I reflected. I've taught my girls the same thing. They laugh and they sit down and say, yeah, mom, you know, you travel with us. By the time you allowed us to go downstairs when you're upstairs, I said, yeah, once I've shown you the values. Yes. If anybody does this, you punch them, you tell them, you know, nobody should do anything to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, so harassment for me, yes, it was there, but maybe it was there, but I sit down. I know one particular lecturer, the one who failed or tried to fail, and then the dean had to intervene, whatever. Idiot of a guy, you know. And I sat down and I was like, okay, I think it doesn't help the way I also look at you. I think he must have felt that you failed. Yeah, but yeah, those kind of victimizations happen.
Wow.
But I think even the toughest thing, that's why I sit down and say in life, there are people who come and root for you, right? And I sit down and say some of my best friends who, when I look at college, who I worked with, you know, very powerful people. I had an incredible class. You know, our BCom class had
Was Caroline in your class?
No.
She wasn't?
No.
Okay.
Caroline didn't do BCom, did she?
No. Was she in your year?
No. She's much younger than me.
Oh, okay.
Caroline wasn't in me. So some of the best people who I'd hang out with, Aiden Mohammed, for example.
Whoa.
Till now, you know,
Okay.
Aiden, I could call him, you know, he was my classmate. When you look at Julius Kipmetich, Dr. Julius, those
Amazing
are my
human.
classmates. You know, when I look at, we had an incredible Jeremy Nguza, who are still friends till today. Our class was, I won't lie, we were quite a powerhouse.
Okay,
of
let me
a
ask
commerce
you this.
class.
Like, you know, you've mentioned people who actually want. I bumped into Julius.
I was with him actually
a couple of days.
Yes.
Ago.
Yeah.
And again, because I'm doing a leadership series, those are kind of people who I'm trying to get to come and sit.
Oh, Julius is brilliant.
To share their stories so that people. But my question coming to you is, what is it about that class of people that you had that has brought about such a rich breed of leaders that we are not churning out these days?
I think because we all worked. We all knew what we're there for. We all worked. When I think about all the people, and somehow I remember more the men than the women. We're very few women in our class, by the way. It's not that we still have a group, but we were very few women. It's just that we did this stuff. You know, it's not like these days where people cheat, where they do all sorts of things and everything else. And then because somehow we retain the circle, we in a way still can, we know at the back of our heads we can root for each other. Yeah, if you can call on somebody who's a classmate, and we have a fantastic
alumni group.
Yeah, you can call on each other, and you know, so that really helped.
Okay, granted, yes, there were opportunities.
Yeah,
there were more opportunities. Just because of demand and supply.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, I was recruited at the university.
What?
For Unilever as a management trainee. Yeah.
Yeah. I told you guys the story is heavy.
Yeah, that's why I was recruited. They came to the university. They'd go to the dean and ask, give us your top students who you recommend, who you interview. The dean gives a list of people who you go and you're interviewed. You start the first lot, they come. They interviewed us at the university.
Yeah, but you see, for you to be interviewed, there's a lot of things that you're saying that I'm just like, you're ticking the boxes. I'm coming to Unilever.
Yeah.
Do you go to London?
I did after working. After I'd worked.
No, because of Miss Kenya.
Miss Kenya, I did first year. I went to London, went to the House of Commons. I can show you those pictures.
But the way
I can show you those pictures. You know, with those all those dodgy old ministers. Let's show you, tell us. You know, they're looking at you and they're eyeing you, and you're like, "Hey, this is sexual." Today, I'd say it's sexual harassment. You know, you're trying to sit like this, and you're kitenge because you want to be the African queen, and these characters are there. And you're having peas and lamb.
Had you gone to?
Yes, I'd flown, but not to. I've been to Israel. I've never been to London.
Okay, had you
know,
been to
those
Europe?
days, Kenya, we didn't need visas, anywhere. So Kenya was a different country, but I'd never been.
Wow.
It was my first time there. Went to Macau, incredible island. Never been back there again. Macau is off China coast, which is a gambling. That's where we did all that. We did all the swimsuit shots and everything else. Then went to Hong Kong. We were on a TV show. I mean, now I look back, I'm like, do you know who was my roommate?
Who?
In Miss Kenya? Halle Berry.
Ah, come on. Like, what the heck?
I always show my girls, look at this book that I've signed, that you know, the card when we left, and they say, "Oh, Mama, you know," I say, yeah, I mean, you know. I tried to message her on Instagram, but she ignored me. I said, it's fine. It's okay.
No way. That time she was Miss
America. She was Miss America.
So you know, you are running away from this Miss Kenya story, but you're doing some pivotal life things.
Yeah.
And when you come back, okay, how do you do? Because the reason why you were meeting as Miss Universe,
Miss World,
Miss World, Miss World was now to crown the Miss World.
Yes, because you were Miss World. Miss World was Miss Iceland, I think, is only one in our year.
How did you do?
How could I do? Come on, I was black. I'm African. When
didn't tick the boxes?
Even when's the first time a black girl won? No, but when's the first time an African woman won? You guys, it's just the other day.
The other day.
Yeah, it's just a few. There's no way. Blonde.
Yeah.
You either had to be South American. Yeah.
White.
Or white. Blonde, blue eyes, those types.
You did?
Yeah, but there's no chance. Come on. But anyway, I hated it. Honestly, the experience, I hated it. Oh my God. That parading, walking up and down, I hated it to bits.
Yeah.
Because for me, if there's something I'll tell you, independence for me is also being free to do what you want. People think it's fun. You know, you're locked up half the time. You are controlled. You go here. Here I am thinking I'm traveling to these places. I'm going to see things. You didn't see Jack. You went where they wanted to. You're in a bus. You're bussed here. You're bussed there. First of all, don't ever take me on a holiday where there's a bus and you come out in. Those are the sorts of things I will not do. That's not a holiday for me at all. Freedom. Remember I told you? Yeah, I have to have the ability to change my mind. I'm spontaneous, whatever. But to go and sit somewhere where you're in a room, our floors had security.
Yeah.
So you couldn't. And in my year, actually, it was even more complex because we had Miss Israel, Miss Lebanon, right?
Oh.
And those countries were at war.
Yes.
So it was a nightmare. So they had to be on different floors. That was being managed. I look back now, I'm like, oh my goodness, this was a nightmare. Then you go for meals, you're bussed there, you go there. Whatever you're doing was controlled. It's not like you are going to live it up and you're going out in the town. No, you could not just go where you wanted. You just couldn't do it.
So, but then when you come back, you see, in this place you are unknown, no one, you're locked in this life. But here you are on.
Yeah, I tried to forget it. I tried to hide it. Oh my gosh, when I came back, I didn't want anybody.
But then you see, it's part of that whole thing.
But that is where the moment came in.
Okay.
I realized the businesswoman in me kicked in. I said, okay, if I'm going to pick up flack out of this, I'm going to make money. Actually, I was a very wealthy girl by the time I was in college. Listen, I bought my first car, which all my friends used to use. So I had a car on campus. Everybody else is borrowing, doing whatever. Independence. I told you the story of independence.
And not your parents who bought you the car?
No. I bought my mini Clubman myself, right?
Wow. So what deals did you get?
KQ 151. No, 151 was the second one. KQ, oh gosh, I want a
Actually,
mini.
was there?
Blue.
Was there?
The blue little Clubman.
Wait. Was there? The guys who give these jobs to Miss World and Miss Universe.
Yes.
Is agency.
Yes.
Was there agency at the time?
No, there was an agent, but he was a hustler agent. But,
Not agent. Where do you work now? You work your...
So let me give you the story. So I came back. Actually, part of the money I made, full circle, life.
That's what I'm trying to ask.
Is an agency I'm running today. They gave me the most. All
No way.
Contracts that I do now. Yes. So I did the Lux commercial. I did another one for a lotion called, what was it called? Young and Lovely or something like that. So that's why I made the money. I mean, Young and Lovely. I'm talking about 30 years ago, being paid 250,000 for 1 year. So when I look at it now, I realize it was a lot of money, because when I first started my first job, my pay slip was 11,000 shillings, right? So I sit down and I say that the business person me sit down and say, you get lemons, make lemonade, and that's what I did. So you're giving me flack, but I'm busy, and I modeled a lot. That's the only time I modeled while I was in college. So I used to model a lot for Little Red. I'd model a lot for the biggest brands I did was Little Red. Who else did I work for? And African Heritage. Remember African Heritage? So if you go to African Heritage, you see a lot of the old photos of me.
Here.
Yes. So African Heritage for Alan Donovan.
Yes.
Used to do all the African whatevers. So those are the two big things I used to model for. So I was never broke. Never ever broke.
You were.
And I listen now to my daughter modeling sometimes, and people telling her they're paying, in Kenya, people want to pay you 8,000 or something to do a modeling. I said, McKenna, I was getting paid 2,000 35 years ago, whatever. How could it be 8? I mean, how could it be, Things haven't moved on here. So Alan Donovan, in fact, I keep saying I have to go back to the house. I got some of the photos, but I need to go and just get a few more of the photos from that time. And then Little Red, a lot of the stuff for Little Red.
So you're working.
Yes, I worked.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
You're in school, but you're working. And even here, you see, your whole story, there's one thing that you sound like, and I'm glad that I didn't, you sound like there's a group of people here and you're here.
Yeah, I always was like that.
You always sounded like you're here, and not even in terms of alone. It's just that you're thinking, you're acting. There's something
I don't
different.
see it, by the way.
There's something
It's funny
different.
how you don't think about it. Now when you call it out, I realize my brain has always, that thing called independence has always driven me. Independence, resilience. It's funny how a particular desire you have drives everything you do. So you'll accept it if it's going to be the end to the mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, the means to the end.
Yes.
The means to the end. Yeah, the end for me was always to be independent. Right?
But you're achieving it already in.
So I had my car. I could drive around. I could go. They'd borrow it. So I didn't have to depend on people. In fact, till today, I'm glad there's Ubers and stuff like that, because I'd sit down and say, going in a car with a guy and then he leaves you somewhere, and then you're like, I want to go, and somebody's not bringing you back. I said, hell no.
Wow.
Yeah. So those are some of the things. Yeah.
And then now, okay, let's do a quick break. When we come back, now we hear. I don't want to call it your first job, because this whole time that you worked and earned money, even though you've blocked it out, it was. Wait, before I transition, what were you doing with the money? Did you invest? Did you save? I
saved. I used to save.
So
I was saving it, but my mother used it. Every now and then she would come and say, oh, Patty, I have a bit of this problem. Maybe just give me that book. So she'd come and those withdrawal slips. Yes. So I'd sign a withdrawal slip with the amount. She said, no, just sign a few more so that I don't keep disturbing you. And so the story went.
My God, you are doing so well.
And so the story went.
Yeah. Okay, we're taking a quick break. We're coming back. Oh, what?